Hello everyone, my name is Makeda Voletta, also known as the Body Scientist and Queen Lioness. And for those of you who don't know me, I am a sacred sexual educator and I'm a personal trainer and strength and conditioning coach and a nutritionist. So I am a dedicated student of the body and I have been working with people, helping them to improve the function of their bodies for over 10 years now. Okay. And so today's video, I'm going to be speaking about something that's not talked about often enough, in my opinion, and that is the variations that occur with our genitals and the shame that many people deal with, many women and men deal with, genital shame. Okay, now for those of you, many of you are familiar with my work and the teachings that I do with around the yoni egg with women, and my sensual strength training class, in which I work with women to get them to connect to their entire body, and especially their deep center, their core, their womb, their vaginal canal, which is a place that we hold so much trauma, sexual and non-sexual trauma. And our womb and our yoni has memories, okay? Our vaginal canal holds memories. Our entire body holds memories, okay, and experiences. And, you know, lately I've been hearing so much about this genital surgery, reconstructive surgery, plastic surgery that women are getting to, whether it's to make their vaginal muscles tighter or to make their vaginal lips smaller or getting their clit reduced. You know, so many women are dealing with various forms of shame. And I remember one of my best friends in college who was a nurse. I remember her saying to me, "Oh my goodness, you know, penises and vaginas look so many different ways. There's so many different variations," you know, because as a nurse, she had seen so many that she knew, like, it's not just one way, you know. So as women, especially because our genitals are tucked inside, you know, we have to actually make an effort to see them. Unlike men, where men's genitals are external, that every time they look down, they see them as nothing, you know. So I believe that men are much more connected to their genitals for that reason. Men get unfairly penalized and criticized for thinking with their other head, you know. But who's to say that this head is better than that head, you know, really, when we do have womb wisdom. So, you know, women, because our genitals are tucked in, we have to really, and we're more internal, we have to take an effort to connect, okay? And we wouldn't know unless you are a doctor or a nurse or somebody who does waxings or a piercer or a woman who makes love to women. If you wouldn't come in contact with other vaginas and vulvas. So you may think that something is so abnormal about you and have no idea that there are a lot of other women whose vaginas may be similar, you know, or just the fact that none of us have, no two people have vaginas that look the same, okay? And I think this is really important and that it should be a part of sex ed. This can save a lot of trauma and a lot of self-esteem issues with a lot of women, okay? And one thing so I was going to make a point, but I'm going to make it later. But yes, so basically the ways in which our vaginal canal, our vagina can vary. There's a number of ways they can vary. Number one, our clitoris. The clitoris can be different sizes. Some women's clitorises are really large, some are really small, some have a hood covering them, some of them don't have hoods covering them. Some women's, the hood that covers the clitoris is attached to their outer lips. Some women it's not, okay? The differences between the outer lips and the inner lips. You know, some women have long outer and inner lips. Some women have small outer and inner lips. Some women are thick. Some are thin. Okay, the distance between the clit and the vaginal opening also is another variation with a lot of women. And where the G-spot is located. The G-spot is not necessarily located in the same place in all women. Some women's G-spot is closer to the opening, some is a little bit further up. And I will say that all in all, women do have more than one G-spot. We have more than two. We have several different sensitive spots, but that one particular G-spot that is the easiest to find is not located in the same place in every woman. Not every woman's vaginal canal is the same length, okay? We have different length vaginal canals, and, you know, all these things attribute to a different physical difference, okay? Like, they physically look different, but also the feel and the pleasure that women get. Some women, the clit, the vaginal opening, and the G-spot are very close together. Some women are not. For women who have them very close together, it's easier for them to have vaginal orgasms and to have orgasms from penetration, because all those spots can be stimulated. So it's important to know ourselves and to look at our vulvas, to look at our vaginas, to feel around and see what it feels like. You know, this is really important. And I do believe that if more women saw more images of vaginas and vulvas, that there wouldn't be so much shame. Because, you know, watching porn, and I'm not gonna lie, porn is something I definitely do watch a lot. You don't really see such a wide variety of vaginas in porn, and usually they're completely shaven bald, and some women like some hair. There are a lot of men who like that. Not every man likes completely bald, but it seems now that, like, women think that's the only symbol of beauty is to be completely bald. And so I think it's really important to get out of this this idea that there's only one perfect vagina or something, okay? And it really breaks my heart when I see so many women getting surgery, mutilating themselves because they feel like they're abnormal. This is a real issue, a real serious issue, okay? And in looking at the ancient artwork, and this is something that, you know, I'm a researcher, I'm into the body and science, but I also do a lot of anthropological research looking at ancient artwork. And all around the world, throughout Africa, throughout the Americas, Ireland, you know, the Aborigines, they all, in India, you know, they all had ancient erotic art where you would see depictions of women with their legs wide open, sometimes with a baby's head coming out, sometimes with menstrual blood coming out, sometimes with nothing coming out, okay? There are lots of vulva symbols inside of caves and outside of caves, you know. That was the womb and the vulva were considered to be religious sites, places of worship, okay, places for ceremony and ritual, okay. So I think that if more women were aware of this, it could help, okay. It could help with self-esteem. And so genital shame is a real thing, and I do suggest, just like I suggest that women, that we massage our breast every day, that we send love to our breast, that we connect to the love and compassion in our heart, because that's where we hold resentment and anger. So it's really important to express what's in your heart and get this energy moving. So breast massage is very important. I definitely am a huge believer in dance, and especially dance that requires you to activate your hips and connect to your hips, and also working with a yoni egg, you know, an egg that you work with internally in your vaginal canal to help to balance you and to transform trauma and different issues. For more information on that, please check my video, Cosmic Yoni Egg Lecture. And then I have an advanced video as well on my YouTube channel. It's on my YouTube channel, The Queen Lioness. I have two YouTube channels, The Queen Lioness with 3 S's, and also TheBodyScientist81, okay? So please join them both, TheBodyScientist81 and The Queen Lioness with 3 S's, okay? Anyhow, I do recommend checking that out, because that's something I also highly recommend to help in your process of healing genital shame and other types of sexual shame that you're dealing with, okay? One excellent book that I recommend, there are a few, but one book that I think does a great job at breaking down the variations in vaginas is a book called The Sexual Practices of Kadoshka, okay? The Sexual Practices of Kadoshka by a woman named Amma Charles. Here's a book. Okay, right here. And in the book, she has a chart of different types of vaginas and vulvas. See if you can see it. Can you see that? All the different ways that we can be, you see? Okay. Now, in her book, she goes into greater descriptions about the variations. Also, The Sexual Teachings of the Jade Dragon is another book, The Sexual Teachings of the White Tigress, where they go into these things. And different cultures, and the sexual practices of Kadoshka, which I just showed you, comes from the Mayan and Toltec traditions. So these are Native American traditions. And I always say this, that all indigenous people had their form of sacred sexuality, okay? So it wasn't just unique to India or China, but everybody had it. So that, in particular, the Kadoshka practices come from the Mayan and Toltec peoples, okay? Very ancient practice, and that is a good book that I do recommend. So I'm not going to talk your head off. I just wanted to do a quick video speaking about genital shame, and I think we should think of it like this. Our whole body is a part of our body. Now, if we walked around with stuff over our face, covering our face, and nobody saw our face, but our genitals were out, then our genitals would be like faces, you know, and showing the face would be something that would shock people. But it's organized religion and colonialism that has told us that our genitals are shameful and that we need to be ashamed. So people who don't even realize are holding shame are holding shame, when really our genitals are, again, a part of our body. And it's very important for us to love our entire body, because our body hears our thoughts. Okay, our mind tells our body what to do, and our mind feeds our body. So when we think negative things about our body, it definitely affects us, even if we don't realize it. Okay, so sending love and getting to know yourself and getting to love yourself and love those things about you is very important. Before we were colonized, you know, and it's a different story in different parts of the world, but places where it was hot, like Africa, like Southeast Asia, like the Caribbean, people, like Hawaii, like the Polynesian Islands, people were naked. They might have had like a little grass skirt or some beads around their waist, but it's in the primary documents when the colonizers and the missionaries came and they saw people walking around naked, genitals out, buttocks out, breast out, and they were disgusted. And they said that they were all heathens, that they needed to put their clothes on. Okay, so now we internalize that. And if we saw our own ancestors from just 200, 300, 400, 500 years ago, we would be disgusted at what we saw. But all in all, there are traditions in Africa where men paint each other's penises, or women are stretching each other's labias. Okay, seeing genitals was not such a big, shocking deal. Okay, so I think that, you know, it's important to realize that America was colonized by Puritans, so we have a lot of puritanical ideology, and the Americas in general was colonized by the Catholic Church, and dealing with Catholicism, Judaism, and Islam. There's a lot of genital shame and sexual shame, mutilation, clitorectomies in Africa. These are serious issues, okay, and attacks on women's power. So for me, I do think that it is important for us to start seeing various types of vulvas and various types of vaginas and knowing ours, so that we can be comfortable within ourselves and realize that it's not such a big deal, okay? Appreciate what you have and love your body. And that's all I'm going to say for now. I'm going to channel all the rest of my rambling for my book. My book that I'm working on, it will come out soon. So you can also find more of my work on the TheBodyScientist.blogspot.com. And you can find me on Facebook, my fan page, Makeda Voletta -- The Body Scientist. Okay, so thanks for now. See you all later. Peace and love.